All right, back on the Domino's post-game report. Adam Cavalier alongside Carson-Newman head football coach Mike Clowney. Mike, your team falls today on the road to Newberry by a final score of 34-3. I think one thing probably important today to note, after last week, your team came out swinging. Had effort. At times, execution wasn't there. But give me a sense of your team's ability to come out through some frustrating times and still fire away.
You know, that's one thing I talked to guys about in the locker room a second ago. No one wants to be where we're at right now. But if you're going to go through what we're going through, I wouldn't want to go through it with a different group of guys. Every week, regardless of the situation, they continue to come out. They continue to give us a good effort. They continue to work. They continue to believe in one another. Continue to believe in us. At some point, this thing is, we're still saying it. I know it's late, but at some point, it's going to break. And you hope at the beginning of the game you can kind of see some of the pieces that may come into play. We've got to, believe in ourselves, believe in what we're doing. But the big thing right now is like when you're where we're at, the biggest thing is confidence. It can cause you to lose your confidence. And, we got to be able to keep our confidence, have an edge, and go out and make plays is what this one really boils down to.
You bring up making plays, again, by an eyelash in places. Opening drive, Braxton Westfield catches a screen, and it looks like it's open for a touchdown, and the turf monster grabs him.
Yeah.
I can think of a 3-and-out you had. I think it was your third possession of the game. Back-to-back drops on plays that were open.
Yep.
How do you coach through those frustrating moments where it's there? It's also, if I could bring my fingers into frame for the YouTube video, it's that close.
That's what we talked about earlier as far as confidence. It's just like, like you're here. The worst thing the kid can do is start to kind of question themselves. I remember one drop. I'm not really calling them out, but like Ty, the ball hit his hands, and he makes that play pretty much every day in practice. And a lot of what you're seeing right now is we've got guys that we go work in practice. They can make those plays repeatedly. We got to make sure that we can now get some of the things that we're doing during the week. We got to get those things to show up a little bit better on Saturday.
Ran the ball fairly effectively today. Again, a game where your play count, I suppose, is a bit unbalanced just because Newberry had the football for an eternity. But you average more than 5 yards a rush. What did the offensive line do to put that unit in a position to move the ball on the ground?
We've talked about our offensive line all year and just kind of what that situation was coming into the year. But when you talk about growth, you look at those guys. Once again, we're playing a bunch of different guys in different places than they even played last week. And with the defensive front that Newberry has, there's a couple times, when we kind of get in the game, we felt like, we were probably in a better position than we felt like we would be coming in. Those guys gave us a great effort. They played low, they played with high energy, they played together. Still just, going through some growing pains, but they're going to get there.
You allude to it. The number of positions that you've had to juggle this season has been astronomical. And I think back to that 2010 team that got down to its seventh string quarterback in a frustrating year. Very similar situation, what you're going through on the offensive line. How do you work through that?
That's Coach Guillermo has done a really good job with him and Coach Ray. Every day, that group doesn't make excuses. Whatever's thrown at them, you just watch them look and respond. One thing I think that speaks volume, when you talk about offensive line, we talk about all the running backs that we have in Hall of Fame. Mm-hmm. We talked about it a week ago, Jay Floyd being the first offensive lineman out of this long list of All-American offensive linemen we have to kind of go in. So, they kind of stick to that motto, just really being unselfish, coming out every day, every week, just to try to find out, whatever we tell them, hey, we need you to go to guard this week. Yes, sir. And they go and do it and try to respond accordingly.
Newberry, again, the yards are there in part because the Wolves had the football for 42 minutes and ran 30 more plays than you.
Yes.
But Mario Anderson came into this game as the conference's second leading rusher. He doesn't hit his average. He needed 21 carries to get to 82 yards, and he only averages 3.9 yards per carry. What'd you do to bottle him up?
I thought our defensive coaches did a great job with game plan this week. I mean, you've got a lot of different weapons that you've got to try to find a way to kind of contain them, the quarterback, running back. But I thought our guys did a good job of buying into that game plan. A lot of stuff that was similar to what we saw last week. Our guys being able to watch the film from Noah Ryan and then just kind of make a couple of adjustments that we need, just kind of to be able to play with more confidence and understanding exactly, the positions that the offense is trying to put them into and, better being able to try to dictate what was going on.
How much of a struggle has it been for your defense with how long it has had to be on the field? 41 minutes today. Newberry, 12 for 18 on third downs.
That's tough. I mean, as a defensive coach for a long time, the less they play, the better off we are. And so we've got to find a way to, offensively, we've got to find a way to, take more snaps. A lot less just on us on the other side of the football to where we've got to make sure we can move the football. We got to, get first downs and buy those guys some time.
You look at this one. Again, this is a place that a lot of Carson-Newman teams have come out of here over the last 15 years, not on the right side of the win column, but your team with effort, zeal, enthusiasm here today. How do you build on that going back to Mossy Creek for your final two home games of the year, and then a big road one to finish up at Tusculum?
I think that's what we talked about in there. When we unpack this video, I think we're going to see the opportunities that we have. And the next thing is, we talked about, today I was proud of our guys for this instance. I thought this was the best we put together as far as us functioning as a team. Guys on the sideline pulling for one another. We talked about getting the back-to-back and fighting for one another. And so I thought today, was probably a really good team effort from an emotional standpoint, from a leadership standpoint. But now the thing that we've got to do is we got to go fight together. And then we got to finish together. And so, those are the next steps. And so that's what we're going to do when we unpack this video, look at, the opportunities that we had, the things that we could have done to put ourselves in a little bit better situation, and then continue to work on gelling and coming together.
All right, Mike Clowney, homecoming next week. We'll talk to you against the Lions.
Looking forward to it.
That's Carson-Newman head football coach Mike Clowney.